Hello and welcome to my 21.3 Ergogenic Aids screencast. In this screencast I will be talking about the roles of ergogenic aids and what is their effect on athletes, specifically a heptathlete. First, what is an ergogenic aid? According to www.healthline.com, a performance enhancer or an ergogenic aid is anything that gives you a mental or physical edge while exercising or competing. This can range from caffeine and sports drinks to illegal substances. There are a variety of both safe and harmful ergogenic aids. There are lots of different organisations that help to battle against the use of ergogenic aids if they are illegal. The first one is the World Anti-Doping Agency. What is the World Anti-Doping Agency? This organisation is around to make sure that all athletes can perform in a dope-free sporting environment. What do WADA do? It is their duty to monitor all anti-doping activities worldwide to ensure proper implementation of and compliance with the World Anti-Doping Code. The document harmonising anti-doping rules in all sports and all countries by international sports federations and the National Anti-Doping Organisation. The next organisation is the IOC. This is the International Olympic Committee. It is their job to promote Olympicism around the world and lead the Olympic movement. The IOC is the head of all Olympic family members, ranging from the National Olympic Committee to the international federations, athletes, organising committees for Olympic Games, to their partners and broadcasters, plus the United Nations agencies. The next organisation is UK Sport. What is UK Sport? The primary role of UK Sport is to strategically invest national lottery and income to maximise the performance of UK athletes in the Olympic and Paralympic Games and the global events which precede them. And what do? UK Sport is the nation's high-performance sports agency investing in Olympic and Paralympic sport. Its mission is to work in partnership to lead sport in the UK to world-class success. Primarily, this means working with our partner sporting organisations to deliver medals at the Olympic and Paralympic Games. National governing bodies. National governing bodies are organisations that govern and administer a sport on a national basis, whether that is for the whole of the United Kingdom, for Great Britain, or for one of the home countries individually. What do? For example, in the UK you have the FA, which is England's Football Association, and they are in charge of all football within England. They make sure that all the leagues are played fairly and safely, as well as under 18 leagues, making sure that all proper safety measures are put in place for the underage kids. Now we'll be moving on to the 5 ergogenic aids. The first one is Pharmaceutical Aids. According to www.livescience.com, pharmaceutical ergogenic aids can be described as drugs both legal and illegal that are used to enhance physical performance. Pharmaceutical aids are commonly used by athletes of various sports competitions in order to gain a more competitive edge. Some examples of these aids are caffeine, protein supplements, beta blockers, and anabolic steroids. A beta blocker, also known as a beta-adrenergic blocking agent, are medications that reduce your blood pressure. Beta blockers work by blocking the effect of the hormone epinephrine, also known as adrenaline. Beta blockers cause your heart to beat more slowly and with less force, which lowers blood pressure. Some examples of athletes that would use beta blockers are darts players, snooker players, and anyone who wants to make sure that their arousal levels aren't too high in order to make sure they will compete well. Some beta blockers are commonly available. These are bisoprolol, carvedilol, esomolol. What are the positive effects of beta blockers on heptathletes? One is it keeps them calm when they are competing. This is a positive, as it means that the pressure of the competition won't affect them, meaning they'll be able to perform to the highest of their ability without worrying about what's around them. Two, make sure that they are at the optimal arousal level. This means that they'll be performing at their peak level, as their arousal will be at the optimum level. Three, it may help them to perform over multiple events, as they will have exerted less energy on keeping their nerves controlled, and they're able to focus more energy on the event they are performing. However, some negatives are that all beta blockers are banned from athletics, so if caught will lead to them being banned. Two, it lowers blood pressure, so this could have serious side effects to the athlete and could cause them to have nausea, which could lead to them fainting and ruining all the chances of them performing well. And three, it's also seen as morally wrong to cheat when performing an event, and this can have a negative impact on their appearance as an athlete and may stop them from performing again in the future. Finally, the current guidelines of beta blockers is that they are banned from all athletic events. The next aid is the physiological aid. A physiological aid might be hypnosis or mental rehearsal, blood doping, or injections are considered powerful physiological ergogenic aids by virtue of their ability to increase red blood cell mass and increase maximum aerobic capacity. Some examples of physiological aids are creatine, saunas, blood doping, and sport massages. Analysis of creatine. What is it? According to www.healthline.com, creatine is a substance that is found naturally in muscle cells. It helps your muscles produce energy during heavy lifting or high intensity exercise. Taking creatine as a supplement is very popular among athletes and bodybuilders in order to gain muscle, enhance strength, and improve exercise performance. Some examples of athletes that may use creatine are bodybuilders, weightlifters, and sprinters. Is creatine regularly available? Yes, creatine is regularly bought and consumed for exercise by both professional athletes and non-professional athletes. What are the positive effects of creatine on a heptathlete? The first one is increased muscle mass. This is a positive because it means for events that involve power or strength, then they will have an advantage as they will have a higher amount of muscle mass, giving them more strength and power. Two, it increases their energy stores. This is good as it means that a heptathlete will be able to perform over multiple events without fatiguing as quickly, meaning they will be able to perform at a higher level for longer. And three, it overall helps to improve performance, which will mean that they are more likely to finish higher in the rankings at the end of the competition. However, the negative effects are muscle cramping. This This is a bad thing because it means that an athlete could cramp in the middle of their event, and this can lead to them either not finishing the event or placing very low, and this will have a negative effect on the overall score. Next is nausea. This again will have the same effects as muscle cramping, as will dehydration. The next aid is a mechanical aid. What is a mechanical aid? According to www.thefitmap.com, mechanical forms of ergogenic aids includes specially designed clothing, enhanced forms of sports equipment, and/or physical devices in contact with a person's body. Some examples of these aids are altitude training, sports clothing/equipment, and treadmills. Analysis of altitude training. What is altitude training? According to www.lifescience.com, by training at a high altitude, athletes aim to allow their bodies to produce extra red blood cells. Then they head to a competition at a lower elevation to take advantage of their changed physiology, which should last for 10 to 20 days. Examples of athletes that would use them are endurance runners, endurance cyclists, and swimmers. Is altitude training readily available? It is readily available if you can afford to go to places of altitude. So mainly altitude training is for professional athletes who are solely focused on winning. Because if it was for a non-professional athlete, then they may have other work commitments, which could mean that they are unable to go to a place of altitude for a long period of time to reap the benefits. What are the positive effects of altitude training? One positive effect is the increased red blood cell count. This is important as it means that the heptathlete will be able to perform exercise for a longer period of time, and this will help them over their multiple events. The next positive is that red blood cells can hold more oxygen. This is important as it means that there will be more oxygen provided to the working muscles, meaning that the athlete's pyruvic acid will have less chance to turn to lactic acid, resulting in a slower fatigue of their muscles and an improved performance over their events. Finally, more oxygen will be provided to the working muscles, which again will cause them to fatigue slower and will help the athlete perform over multiple events. However, there are some negatives. One is that it only lasts 10 to 20 days, which means that the athlete will have to finish the altitude training reasonably soon before they compete, otherwise they will lose all effects of the training. Altitude training can also cause sickness, which could mean that which could affect the performer's performance as they may feel unwell. The current guidelines say that altitude training is currently allowed in all athletic competitions.